Hey everyone, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, and we've got sort of a random severe thunderstorm warning here. This was not, definitely wasn't something we were anticipating, and something that kind of came up pretty quick. Weren't expecting severe weather today, but of course we, respond to anything we need to. Hang on one sec, let me get the YouTube link for the guys here. Let's see here. You guys are going to have to excuse me today. I am home with COVID. So, I'll do the best I can not to cough into you guys' face. All right. Okay, so we have this severe thunderstorm warning. This is for eastern and southeastern Davidson County and also northeastern Williamson County, including Nolensville. So let me turn off the white polygon here, and you guys can sort of see where this warning is. I don't expect this warning to last very long. It is in effect until, let's get the expiration time on it, until 3:30. But it may not last that long. What we've had is some severe winds that kind of came out of this thing pretty quick. A little downburst up here around I-40, Nashville Shores, right across Percy Priest Lake. In fact, if I turn the radar off here, you can see Percy Priest Lake right there, Nashville Shores there, I-40 and Bell Road and Hermitage up there. And then you can kind of see, and the way this works here, the green is winds going toward the radar, which is right here. So green is winds going toward the radar, red is winds going away from the radar. And so it's a classic downburst signature is essentially what I'm trying to say. Very strong winds went across the lake there, probably on the order of 50 miles per hour or so, kind of right ahead of the heavy rain that went across that's going across the lake right now. So that's what the severe thunderstorm warning is about. That's a current radar picture there, and still some downbursty winds, but they really have come down in the past couple of minutes. Again, sometimes these warnings, you got to get them out quick, and then they may not last very long. And it looks, I don't see any winds now that are on the severe level that they were. In fact, let's zoom in just a little bit, and I'll show you exactly what they issued this warning on. Right here, you see these blues kind of come up. Some blues went right across the lake there, 57, 58 miles per hour. That's when it turns blue. That's indicative of the severe level winds that we probably saw there going right across Percy Priest Lake, right there. And then you can see they quickly sort of die off as they come ashore into the Nashboro Golf Club and the neighborhoods there along Anderson Road and Smith Springs Road. So very windy on the lake. Hopefully everyone was able to catch safe harbor there if you were out on the lake, but it was probably a mess there and got things going pretty choppy. Excuse me. All right, let's go back to our regular radar picture here. One cell is responsible for this warning, and there's another cell up here in Sumner County. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if that develops into anything. Again, we're not really expecting widespread severe weather today. This is kind of a one-off warning. Again, probably won't last very long, but it was for those strong downburst winds. And now it seems to have kind of gusted out. So that can happen. Hang on one second. Let me cough. My apologies. As I said at the very beginning, I am home with COVID, so it has been an interesting couple of days, and I certainly wasn't expecting to be doing a live stream today. So here we are. But we were watching the cell, and it sort of got its act together up there right around the Weather Service office off of Old Hickory Lake, and then sort of gained some strength as the downburst came down to the surface and across I-40 and across Percy Priest Lake right there around the dam and Nashville Shores. So hopefully it has gusted out for now, and we'll have to see if they let this warning continue or if they decide to let it expire. But right now, not seeing, at least on radar, not seeing any indication of severe level winds with that storm now. So we would love to have your reports, especially if you live on the shores of Percy Priest Lake. If you live near Percy Priest Lake, it's possible, especially on the north side of Percy Priest Lake, excuse me, toward Nashville shores, very possible you could have had some wind damage up there of some sort, even if it just a tree came down or something like that. That's possible up there, kind of between Nashville shores and I-40, right around the Hermitage exit there on I-40. So possible that you could have had some wind damage up there. So the way to get in touch with us, let us know about those reports, is to use hashtag TSpotter, and use hashtag TSpotter on X. Or you can DM us a report on Instagram if you follow us there. And those would be a couple of good ways to get us reports. 1 second. And we will get those reports over to the Weather Service. Let's see. I'm going to go over to the comments here, see what reports we have there. Yeah, Jeremy was talking about how Old Hickory may have experienced a little part of a microburst. Yep, that's what this is. No reports coming in that I can see, at least at the moment. Checking a couple of different places. Not seeing anything yet. Yes, there is a way to report things if you don't have social media. You can just leave that here in the chat. Excuse me, the chat that you left a message here in. You can leave a message there. Well, hopefully we'll see that. Sometimes those get biased when things really get going. Sometimes those move so fast we can't keep up with them. But we fully expect to see that. Hopefully we can see it and get that reported. All right. Let's see here. Still not seeing any indication of severe wind. I'll be interested to see if they let this warning just keep going. Yeah, looks like it's gusted out, which is a good thing. Pretty heavy over in the Haywood Lane area. Thanks, Jay. Let's go in and look at TB&A. Yeah, still not seeing nearly the wind we saw earlier on TB&A. So that's good. This is a classic downburst or microburst signature, as we talked about just a minute ago. If you were just joining us, we were talking about how the winds are as far as going toward and away from the radar. It's been a little bit since we've talked about this. But the red is wind going away from the radar. Green is wind going toward the radar. Of course, right here, we're looking at TB&A. TB&A radar is down here on the border of Davidson and Williamson counties in Nolensville. And so the green is wind going toward that radar, and red is wind going away. So sort of picture this like of course, a radar can only see toward and away. It can't see, in kind of a dimensional way that are like a ripple on a pond would. So essentially just picture a rock being dropped into a pond, and that ripple goes across the pond. That's kind of what this is. And so that the cold air came out of the storm, hit the ground, spreads out. And so this is a classic downburst signature. Y'all forgive me. I'm going to have to go get some water, and I'll be back in just a second. All right. Okay, back in business. Hermitage, asking about Hermitage if you're out of the danger zone. Yeah, this thing has moved past Hermitage now. Let's go back to our regular radar. It looks like they've issued a second severe thunderstorm warning off east of us. So that's interesting. Really wasn't expecting more than about one. Wasn't really expecting any severe thunderstorm warnings today, but the fact that we have two here, things are getting a little charged up. Overachieving, I guess. Hermitage, you're looking good. There's another cell off to your north, but so far that hasn't really amounted to anything. That storm is, our main storm is now south of Hermitage. Jeremy with a report here that from around Stewart's Ferry Pike at Lebanon Road, some crazy winds, but not seeing any damage right now. That is very helpful. Thank you. Yes, asking which direction these are traveling. These are traveling south. So it looks like Nolensville is sort of next in line. Storm's coming into Antioch now. Is in most of Antioch, north of 24. Headed toward Nolensville next after that. I think it'll reach College Grove. A little hard to tell. I would guess it probably would. This storm is kind of riding an outflow boundary, which is giving it some fuel. So it very well could make it to College Grove. But hard to tell. They're a little unpredictable on days like today when they're kind of riding this outflow boundary. You know, the thing just could fall apart. But right now they seem to have some pretty good energy with them. So we're going to see. But again, not seeing any severe winds right now. And I'm going to check with the Weather Service and sort of see what their plan is here. Starting to get windy in Smyrna. Yeah, Victor, that makes sense. Storms coming into Smyrna now. The outflow boundary is pushing through Smyrna, so that definitely would increase your winds there in Smyrna. But again, still not seeing anything severe like we did earlier. And even in that latest radar scan, still not seeing anything severe there. So what we're watching for is when the winds reach a blue level. Right now they're sort of dark green, and that's good. We don't want that to turn blue. It looks like the Weather Service says they are not planning on continuing the warning for Davidson. So I'm not sure if that means that they are planning on canceling it or if they plan on just not reissuing it. There was a report here from a train spotter showing large branches down on Bell Road near Nashville Shores. So that's going to be right there near Percy Priest Dam. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people coughing and having a tough time. That dust outside is pretty rough when it gets this dry. Mine actually is COVID. Feels like a bad cold here, and I've got all that drainage, all that stuff. And I usually get sick in the fall. Most years, I tend to get some sort of illness, some sort of virus or something in the fall. And this one has been a doozy. So this one has been been interesting. I don't think I've, and this goes way back before COVID days, but I remember even back in college and all that, I would always get a virus in the fall. And so this one has been been interesting. Hopefully pulling out of it soon. All right, so good thing is we're still not seeing any severe winds crossing I-24. I'll see if I can get a traffic camera up. That would be helpful. Let's get a traffic camera up here from Antioch, I-24. Tons of traffic cameras down there. Let's see. Let me pick one here. Yeah, so this is right there in the area of strong wind. Again, that's very much non-severe winds. That's really not much. So some wind blowing there. Again, very much not unlike, what would be on the interstate all the time. You got all the big cars, big trucks passing at high rate of speed. So that's not concerning whatsoever. So that's good. That's good. And that was right in here where we kind of would be seeing some stronger wind on the radar. Let's see. Let's go back up here and look. Somebody's asking about the storm north of up there in Sumner County. Let's take a look at it. Somebody's asking if it'll fall apart. I don't know that it'll fall apart, but it coming behind this storm, it may not have it may not have the energy that this one out in front does. So I don't expect these to really gain a lot of strength. Weather Service says TBNA is showing 30 to 35 mile per hour winds from Percy Priest down to Laverne. Downward trend is expected to continue. They'll expire the warning shortly unless they see a change. So that makes sense. I totally agree with that. That seems very, very reasonable in this case. So I tell you what we're going to do for your sake is I'm going to get off of here and stop coughing in your face. So just pay attention to the radar. If you have evening plans, outdoor plans, especially east of I-65, pay attention. Definitely some lightning involved with some of these storms. I heard some very loud thunder. I live in eastern Williamson County, and I heard some loud thunder for this cell up to the north when it was about over Percy Priest. So the storms are tossing lightning. Be careful out there if you have plans, especially if you're east of I-65. Other than that, we'll jump off of here. Elon is covering this over on socials. He's there on X and on Threads and on Blue Sky, and then Graham is over on Instagram. I think they've covered all of it. But we're going to jump off of here for now. All right. Hey, thanks for all the well wishes. I appreciate that. I fully intend to be totally well tomorrow. We'll see. Probably not.